The first time Olivia Carter heard his voice, she forgot to breathe. It wasn't just the tone, deep, calm, and quietly powerful. It was the emotion behind it. It carried something raw, something broken, something that felt too real to be scripted. Sitting alone in her small recording booth in Los Angeles, Olivia pulled off her headphones, her heart racing as if she had just witnessed someone confess their soul. She had spent years as a voice actress, bringing life to animated characters and narrating stories, but never had a voice reached through the glass and touched her like that. If you believe that kindness and second chances can change lives, take a moment right now to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes the most unexpected connections can heal the deepest wounds. Olivia was known in the industry for her versatility. She could sound like a child, a warrior, or a grieving widow, all in a single session. But behind her success was a quiet loneliness. Long hours in studios, endless auditions, and a life lived mostly behind microphones had left her craving something real, something unscripted. That's when she met him, or rather heard him. His name, she was told, was Michael Hayes, a newcomer. No photos, no interviews, no social media presence. He was voicing a mysterious character in a new audio drama Olivia had been cast in. Their parts didn't require them to record together, but somehow she always requested to hear his takes before recording her own. His voice told stories even when the script didn't. It trembled in places where the character was supposed to be strong. It softened in moments that were meant to be cold. It felt human, imperfect, real. Olivia became obsessed, not with the man, but with the emotion behind his voice. She began to imagine who he was. Maybe someone who had lived through pain. Maybe someone who had lost something important. Maybe someone who understood loneliness the same way she did. Weeks passed, and her curiosity grew into something deeper. She found herself waiting for his recordings, replaying them late at night, feeling a strange comfort in the sound of a stranger's voice. Then one evening, after a particularly emotional recording session, Olivia did something she had never done before. She left a message. Not as her character, but as herself. It was short, simple, and honest. She told him that his voice felt real, that it made her feel less alone, that whoever he was, he had a gift. She didn't expect a reply, but the next morning there it was. His response was hesitant, almost unsure, but sincere. He thanked her, said her words meant more than she could imagine, and then slowly over the next few weeks their messages turned into conversations. They never spoke face to face. They never exchanged photos. They didn't even use video calls. It was always voice messages, always audio, as if both of them understood that their connection lived in sound, not sight. Michael spoke carefully, like someone who chose his words with precision. He shared fragments of his life, never the full picture. He talked about starting over, about leaving something behind, about trying to rebuild himself from nothing. Olivia didn't push. She had her own scars. She understood what it meant to protect certain parts of your past. But somewhere along the way, something changed. She began to fall for him. Not the idea of him, but the way he listened, the way he understood silence, the way his voice carried warmth, even when his words were simple. For the first time in years, Olivia felt seen, even though he had never actually seen her. One night, after months of talking, she suggested they meet. There was a long pause in his reply. When he finally responded, his voice was different. He sounded afraid. He said he wasn't who she thought he was. Olivia smiled softly as she listened. She didn't care about appearances, fame, or status. She told him that whatever he was hiding didn't matter. That she wasn't in love with an image. She was in love with the person behind the voice. Another long silence followed. Then he agreed. They chose a quiet cafe in Seattle, far from the noise of Hollywood and the expectations that came with it. Olivia arrived early, her heart pounding in her chest. For the first time, she felt nervous, not for an audition, not for a performance, but for something real. Minutes passed. Then she saw him. He wasn't what she expected. Michael walked in slowly, his posture slightly uneven. A faint scar ran along the side of his face, partially hidden beneath a cap. His eyes carried a heaviness as if they had seen too much. but it was his expression that struck her the most, a mix of fear, hope, and quiet resignation. He stopped a few feet away from her, as if unsure whether to come closer, and then he spoke, just one word, her name. Olivia felt the world fall silent. It was him, the same voice that had kept her company through lonely nights, the same voice that had made her feel understood, the same voice she had fallen in love with. But now, standing before her, he was more than just a voice. He was a man who had been through something that had left marks not just on his face, but on his soul. He told her everything. Years ago, Michael had been someone else, a rising actor with a promising career. But a tragic accident had changed everything. It left him physically scarred and emotionally shattered. The industry that once praised him turned its back. The cameras disappeared. The roles stopped coming. All that remained was his voice. So he rebuilt himself around it. No face, no identity, just sound. He was afraid that if Olivia saw him, she would see what the world had seen, a broken version of someone who used to matter. But Olivia didn't see that. She saw courage. She saw someone who had lost everything and still found a way to create something meaningful. She saw a man who had touched her heart without ever showing his face. And in that moment, she realized something simple, yet powerful. Love doesn't begin with what we see. It begins with what we feel. If this story has touched your heart in any way, take a moment to like, comment, and share it. Your support helps stories like this reach more people who need to hear them. And before this story ends, I want you to do something special. Comment the word voice below if you believe that true connection goes deeper than appearances. Olivia reached out her hand. Michael hesitated for just a second, then took it. No music played, no dramatic moment unfolded, just two people, standing in a quiet cafe, choosing each other, not for who they appeared to be, but for who they truly were. And sometimes that's the most powerful love of all.